All right, we made it. We're talking Los Angeles to Arkansas today. And David, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark. Happy to join you today.
No, it's our pleasure. Appreciate you participating in our leadership series. And I'm really looking forward to getting your insights and perspective from your background. So why don't we start? Could you just introduce yourself, what you're doing now, a tiny bit about your background?
Absolutely. My name is David Kopsch. I am the head of global rewards for a manufacturing company based out of Atlanta, Georgia called CP Kelco. They manufacture chemicals that enable viscosity and a lot of other scientific terms and things like that. Prior to joining them, I worked for almost 12 years at Walmart Stores Incorporated, working in compensation, benefits, and also spent a few years on the procurement or buying side. And prior to that, earned a master's degree from the University Carlos III in Madrid, Spain.
Entonces, ¿te hablas español?
Sí, señor, hablo español.
Perfecto. Que Atlanta es cerca de Miami.
Efectivamente.
All right, muy bien. So, bienvenidos.
Gracias.
And let me start with this question. It's probably a much longer answer than we have time for, but can you just give us, what would your definition be of leadership?
When I think of leadership, there's two names that immediately come to mind. It's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. For me, the reason their names come to mind is I equate leadership to ethics, courage, and serving others. And I believe these two men definitely define that. And the way it is, it's doing the right thing when it is too hard or you want to give up, but you know your struggle in the path you're on is true.
Wow, that's great, actually. That's one of the better ones that we've heard, and it's always tough to define it in that short a time, but that's incredible. That leads me into the whole human resources realm, and I've always appreciated that term, human resources, and unfortunately I think it's been everything from misconstrued to just not respected enough for really what it means. And what's your thoughts on how it is understood or appreciated, or more importantly, how it's strategically played well?
So for me, Mark, it's kind of two pieces. One, you're the, to use an Italian term, you're the consigliere. So you're the voice of wisdom or guidance, but you're also, as a colleague once told me, you're the janitor. So when you help the leader or the business with their decisions and making informed decisions, but you're also part of implementation. And if implementation goes, whether it goes well or it goes poorly, if it goes well, you don't hear much about it. But if it goes poorly, then you're the one who has to clean it up. Whether that is, it goes well, we're going to hire people. It goes poorly, we may have layoffs, restructure, redeployment of resources. Because in the end of the day, you can call it resources, you can call it human capital. Business is run by people.
Yeah, great point. And as we all know, it's an infamous line. Talent is the number one asset still. Okay. Despite technology and this and that, those are all tools for talent to be successful. In our executive search practice for years, we always talk about the relationship between talent acquisition, talent development, and then talent retention. A lot of that relates to what you're an expert at, and that's compensation and benefits, rewards. How have you managed to how have you managed the differences, the complex differences in the strategies in compensation and benefits, especially globally?
Well, it is quite complex. I think what it comes down to, though, is the business and the leaders that you're working with. For me, each industry is going to be different, and it's based on the amount of compliance that's required. Banks are under one type of compliance that oil and gas companies are under something different. Because one is more of a serving, and the other is because of the manufacturing, is you're working with people and their safety and the dangers that can be involved in it. and then the end customer. The end customer for a manufacturing company is going to be quite different than, say, for a retailer. So, but still at the end of the day, when you're working globally, there's two things that I've found common is I always open up with, how's your mother? Because everybody has one. And the other one is, have you had your cup of tea or cup of coffee yet this morning? Or if you finished off the evening. Those are the similarities that I've found working globally.
It's really interesting because it does all come down to people at the end, doesn't it?
Absolutely comes down to people. And one of the ways in which I work, you talk about compensation, you talk about benefits. I think some people kind of look at it as, well, you determine people's pay. I take it a step forward and look, or farther, and would say, when mom or dad or person comes home at the end of the day, the food that goes on the table, in a way, I have an impact on that. How much food is on that table, I have an impact on that, and I take that trust very seriously with the people that I'm managing, because I'm helping them manage their family's finances and well-being.
It's a great point. I've heard a lot of successful executives say similar things where they have a responsibility to them. They take on the burden and responsibility to make sure they're taken care of, and as a result of taking care of them, which is part of that development part I talked about in acquisition, development, and then retaining them. If you take care of them, they'll take care of you. I compare a lot of things to sports. We've talked a little bit about this, where the coach that'll stand up for the player no matter what will get that player to do anything for them.
That's right.
And you're in rewards, global rewards. I would think that's along the same lines, correct?
Absolutely, it is. And I think what it comes down to, you at one time asked me the question about how you build consistent winning seasons. And the executive has to own the people agenda. I think it's often misconstrued that when they say human resources, they'll take care of it. They'll take care of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I recently saw a number of postings that say the CFO asked the CEO, how are we going to afford these people? And the CEO's response was something to the effect of, what do you mean afford? What if we didn't have them? And so the CEO and the business leaders, they have to own the people agenda. HR is just purely responsible for the processes. We support attraction, we support development, we support retention. But the business at the end of the day, they're the ones that are approvers. They're the ones that are going to sign off on the dollars. Yeah,
great point. Do you find, because you have a diverse HR background in different industries, like you said, finance, healthcare, you were in your own real estate investment firm, if I remember correctly, energy. What are what again, if you will, are the differences in HR in those different types of industries?
So again, comes back to the customer.
Right.
Who is the customer at the end of the day? Is it another business? Is it a distributor? Is it something that mom's going to put on the breakfast table in the morning? That's what it comes down to. I think that's how you differentiate industries, and you can really tell that, Mark, when you watch commercials during the Masters. You can tell who those companies are trying to reach out to, whether it be the retiree or the young person thinking about buying their first car.
It's interesting also, if I can interject there, I've heard a lot of successful executives say that vendors, customers, investors will determine how and if they want to work with us by how they see us treat our employees, because that's how they'll feel they're going to be treated.
It's absolutely true, and more so now than ever. You're having, particularly young people, have this mentality, and we can call it millennials, we can call it Gen Y, but I would just say when I mean young people, I generally mean the 25 to 40-year-old crowd is thinking about the companies in terms of, what does this company do to the planet and for families? It's great to say, oh, they did Habitat for Humanity, or they did a community outreach, clothes donation. But for young people today, it's also coming down to, okay, but how are they impacting the world? Is it for a positive, or are they making more, are they taking out more than they're putting back in?
Yeah, you raise a good point. We're very involved in the whole sustainability world, corporate social responsibility, and it's certainly changed from early on where it was more a PR move to say you were green or sustainable, but now companies have found out that it makes a difference. And you're right, we have had, especially younger people, consider it absolutely a big factor in taking or not taking a position with a company, depending on their mindset on sustainability, on the environment, etc. Because it tells them, like we were saying before, if you care about that, then you'll care about me, and you'll have a sustainable business.
Absolutely.
Smarty, and wellness gets into there too. We do, in fact, we did a roundtable not too long ago about talent and wellness, and taking care of the physical and mental wellness of your, it sounds so obvious, of your employees, just results in better performance, better business, better everything, right?
Absolutely, it does. And where I would go with this is if you think back 50 or 60 years, Mark, you had the welfare state. And in today's world, governments, they don't have the money. You look at Social Security in the United States, they don't have the money to take care of 300 million people. So this is now transitioning, the costs are transitioning to corporations. And you can see this a lot in Asia because you look at a country like a China or in India, these governments don't have the funds to take care of billions of people. So corporations are being asked to take on more and more costs, and they're seeing their premiums go up year over year, anywhere from 10 to 15%. So it only makes logical sense that a corporation, now taking on that cost, needs an ROI. So it comes down to they're educating their people about, okay, if you will stop smoking, I'll cut you a discount on your premium rate. But if you're a smoker, I'm going to charge you an extra $50 a year or a month or a quarter, whatever that be. And oh, by the way, obesity, diabetes, the same thing. If you'll go get a checkup, then I'll give you a discount on your premium. I didn't say you have to eat an apple at lunch. I'm just saying if you'll go get a checkup and you'll be knowledgeable about your own well-being and safety, then I'll reward you with a discount on your premium.
Yeah, it's a fast-growing area. I saw John Hancock just revealed something where they're going to be tracking what people do, and it's going to impact the premiums. And there's a fine line, some people would say, about Big Brother watching everything you do. But on the other hand, the return on investment, and good choice of words, the ROI there of healthier employees creates healthier businesses.
Absolutely, because I mean, think about it this way is, whether it be Progressive Insurance, they watch how you drive. If you drive the limit or you get into accidents or you do odd things, they'll cut you a discount. But in terms of your people feeling better, if you get a good night's sleep, you come in the next day feeling better about work, feeling better about the environment. These tech companies that provide these fantastic office environments, people start to feel good about it, then they want to stay the extra hour, or they want to, become, the corporation starts to become the family in which they reside, and they really take pride in that. And then they think twice when they say, well, that meeting or my review didn't well. They think twice about leaving. They'll stay because it's like leaving family. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, great point, which again goes back to our whole circle of the talent acquisition. Then you get the development of the talent, which includes wellness and all that's part of the development, which then turns into retention, because why would you go anywhere else? And then as a result, what we find, because we've had people tell us, well, don't you love working as an executive search firm for a company that has a lot of turnover? Because they think, well, you'd be able to put more people in. It's the total opposite. If you want to get great people, then the way to get them is to have a company that develops and retains their people.
That's right.
And wellness and rewards and all that is a big part of it. You mentioned, well, I do like talking about sports and the relationship, about how I talked to an executive of a sports team, and he told me, we aim for championships. That's what we want to do, but we know we're not going to win every year. That's what we want to do. But what is absolutely required is to have consistent winning seasons.
That's right.
So for a business, consistent winning seasons is profitable, keeping your talent, etc. What's that infamous it factor executives have to be able to create the winning culture for winning consistent winning seasons?
I think it's authenticity,
Yeah.
and it's communicating that authenticity. It's communicating the here's how we're doing, here's the impact that you have in how we're doing, and here's how all of us together are going to win. And does anybody have any insights on things? And then asking the key question: what would you think? What do you think we should change? What's going to make us better? What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to start doing? And what do we need to improve on? So I think it's executives connecting with their people, and it doesn't have to be one of these. Oh, we go to lunch once a month. It's as simple as a monthly town hall to talk about the status of the business.
Right. Well, authenticity is a great word, which leads to trust, and vice versa. So great stuff. So some real personal questions here now for TMZ.com. These are one or two word answers type of thing. I know you're moving to Atlanta. Do you have a pet?
I do. We have a chocolate Labrador Retriever, and he keeps us very active. I think the key for us is safety and security of having a large dog in the house.
Well, I got a Doberman, so I get that. You know, we're doing a whole series called Pets and Their Executives. So put down, we need you to send us a picture of you and your dog.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite activity or sport?
I particularly enjoy golf, and when the weather's not good, I enjoy racquetball.
Cool. How about that 21-year-old which won the Masters, huh?
That was unbelievable.
Okay.
But the consistency, the kid was consistent.
Yeah, that's the key. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
I do. One of my favorite movies of all time is Shawshank Redemption.
That's a popular one.
Because it talks about the struggle, and then the fact that what he climbed through and came out clean on the other end. I think the point is there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but sometimes you do have to go through at great lengths to get there.
It's a journey. Enjoy the journey, that's for sure. Favorite type of music?
For me, based on my travels, it'd be flamenco, which the best way I could describe it for some would be kind of U.S. country music based in southern Spain.
Yeah, flamenco, very nice. How about food?
Food would go back to probably the same. It'd be southern Spain, the Mediterranean meals.
Good choices. Nice flavor. I love it. Hey, listen, thanks so much for participating. We really appreciate it.
No, I enjoy it, Mark. Thank you for the invitation. If you need anything else, please let me know.
You bet.